glad to be out of the role that I'm not so thrilled about. Two offers now, maybe going to have a third one. When you're looking at getting a 20K raise, that's definitely worth it. It's a 87K OTE, 90K OTE, a lot more than what I'm making now.
I'm Samir. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Tech Sales Mentors, where we help people land great jobs in tech in under 60 days, tech sales roles. And Owen is someone who has a few offers and is actually looking to secure a third one. So let's actually take a step back before we talk about that stuff. Could you talk a little bit more about like your background and what you've been doing before tech sales?
Yeah. So I graduated college about a year ago to the day. After my college experience, I went into a pretty entry level sales slash merchandising type role with Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. So it's basically just early mornings going into grocery stores, selling them liquor and wine, but also doing the merchandising side of things, stocking shelves, putting cases on the floor, building displays, bringing in decorations, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Um, and, it was an okay job while I was there. It was, a lot more physical labor and moving cases around, moving bottles around, and a lot
Yeah.
less sales than what I was sort of expecting going into it.
Yeah.
So I did get some good sales experience there, but after a while, it wasn't the type of sales that I was truly looking for. But I heard about how bad the job market was. I already had a hard enough time landing that role.
Yeah.
So I really didn't have much confidence, going into the job market, knowing where to apply, how to determine what companies are solid, or even sort of what direction to take around applying or doing outreach.
Yeah.
So then I saw Chris's and your TikToks actually,
Nice.
that, talked about sort of the upward mobility in the tech sales world. And my sister works in tech. So I
That's cool.
started to look into it.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, the model was really enticing to me and sort of made me
Yeah.
think that there actually was something here.
Yeah.
And, I was shocked after getting onboarded and pretty much doing my first mock interview. I had an interview like the very next week.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's been super helpful. Obviously, happy to have an offer right now of two offers now. So glad to be
Nice.
out of the role that I'm not so thrilled about, one of which I'm super thrilled about, and then maybe going to have a third one, hopefully within this next week or so. And happy to actually have options and not just, get one offer and I have to go with it kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And so, that's super exciting, all that's ahead. Kind of when you were, like, maybe back learning through TikTok, like, from us, what tech sales was, I think one thing you mentioned was, like, upward mobility. Um, Tell me more there and anything else that seemed more interesting of, like, "This is the career path for me," versus, like, doing wine and spirit sales.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I guess the biggest thing is that I think any company that you go to on an entry level is going to try to paint this picture for you that you can get promoted easily within a year, year and a half.
Yeah,
And I interned for the company that I actually just quit.
yeah,
And during my internship, it was all centered around getting us to drink the Kool-Aid and really believe that we were going to get promoted in that year to year and a half.
yeah,
But seeing as though like the culture of tech sales and I guess the norm is to be much more fast moving, whether that's, bouncing from company to company or getting promoted within a company super quickly,
yeah,
um, was honestly really enticing to me.
yeah,
Because it's not that you just go to one company and listen to what they have to say, it's the whole nature of the business.
yeah,
And also given that tech sales is so performance focused, or I guess all sales in general,
yeah,
if I'm able to work my ass off for a year and just crush it, and then I can get into that AE role
yeah,
where, say a year and a half down the road, I land that AE role, I'm going to be making more money in that role than I would in, the next 5 years of working in wine and spirits.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so, as it is, the SDR, BDR roles, the entry level pays a little bit more than what I'm making now. But, big picture, when you see that upward mobility actually start to take place, I'd
yeah.
be making more than, you know, three, four promotions down the road in the wine and spirits business. So that's what was really attractive to me.
Yeah, I think that is the most important thing about all of this. Like the SDR pay is like cool for an entry level role, but people who think in careers and not jobs
Mhm.
realize that, oh, the career path here is way better. And it's about, oh, if I stay down this path 2, 4, 6 years, what the potential looks like. So that's awesome that you realize that. And so um when you were watching our TikToks, like maybe checking out tech sales mentors, were there any hesitations in your head about tech sales or tech sales mentors that made you pause or made you hesitate?
Mm. Honestly, the only thing was, I guess, ensuring that our incentives were aligned. The
Yeah,
only other concern that I had was that I was going to get one offer and then be pressured to take that offer.
yeah,
But that kind of all got clarified pretty early on,
yeah,
before I even ever committed to this. Um, so
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's about it. The only other thing that was kind of a concern was how much time I'd have to spend on like the outreach portion.
yeah,
So you know,
totally.
and also, honestly, the all the rules, like, when you get on board and there's all those rules you have to agree to of, responding to things by the end of the day and, being attentive to everything,
Yeah.
honestly, it made me believe in the program a lot more because
Mhm.
you guys are trying to weed out everybody that doesn't do the hard work to actually get the role. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think the reason we have such a great offer only works with people who follow our program. And
Mhm,
so we do have to I do truly believe anyone can break into tech sales, but it's only if you follow the program, right?
mhm.
So I'm glad that the expectations were well set up front. And so um can you tell me more about it sounds like awesome. Do you remember exactly like how many companies? It felt like a crazy amount for you.
I wanna say it was, like, 8 or 10,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, nice. And so, it's awesome because I'm sure working a full-time job while also doing interview prep is enough. So, I'm glad we were able to take that off your plate. When
Mhm.
it came to actually like working with Brandon through interviews, like what was that like versus, doing tech interviews and how we helped you like sort of change your approach versus maybe it was different like when you were going for the internship or maybe you didn't interview for the full-time role because you already got it.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a lot different. Honestly, the biggest thing was that I could have confidence in my answers. I would prep for an interview and I'd know roughly what questions were being asked, and then I'd only have like 70% confidence in my answer. So
Yeah.
when I delivered it, sometimes I'd add on extra pieces to make it sound better. I'd take things away to make it try to sound better, and never really had something super solid that I know when asked, I can just go straight to this answer.
Yeah.
So that's what was great with working with Brandon is having those 8 or 10 questions that you're going to be asked at least 4 of them,
Yeah.
and you sort of, come up with those answers, refine it with Brandon, and then I go into that interview and as the questions being asked, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got this."
Yeah.
And sometimes it would be all it would take is just getting asked, "Tell me about yourself." And obviously I have that, I have that down. I have that delivery down,
Yeah.
and that would just get me in the groove to be confident and in that flow state throughout the whole interview.
Yeah.
There was still definitely some curveballs and some questions that I like, didn't necessarily have
Yeah.
memorized up top,
Yeah.
but the fact that I got 1 or 2 answers that I was super confident in, I could kinda carry that confidence into the rest of my answers and into the rest of the interview, and it really just helped me, like, show my authentic self while being confident in those interviews. So it definitely helped a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like first impressions are so important on the interview. Like the recruiter, the hiring manager might do like 15, 20 interviews for a role. And I feel like they tune out most candidates in the first few minutes.
Mhm.
So nailing that like sets the tone and locks them in. So that's good that you guys worked through that. So then um you mentioned about one of the worries was being pressured into an offer that ultimately like you didn't want.
Mhm.
Tell me about the offers that you have received so far, the 2. Like what your thoughts are on them and like how they align with what you were hoping for.
Yeah. So the first offer that I got from Service Titan, um, initially, I was really happy about it, and I actually did accept it,
Mhm.
because I had about 2 or 3 days to decide on accepting, and then I had another month. So what I ended up doing was accepting it within that first couple days,
Yep.
and then later really doing a deep dive on the company in terms of the people that have been in the SDR BDR role,
Yep.
and that's kind of where my thoughts on the company kind of went negative.
Yeah.
It looked like they would hire 20 people. Like there was reviews. Granted, Glassdoor, take it with a grain of salt, but there were
Yeah.
reviews of people talking about getting hired with at a class of 20, and then 4 months later, only three of them are left, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what turned me sour a little bit on Service Titan.
Yeah.
But after that, every company I interviewed with, I would really do that reviewing process before interviewing and kind of get a vibe for them.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where I came across Recast.
Yeah.
And after the whole interview process with everybody else and after Service Titan, I knew I was looking for somewhere that was going to be invested in the growth of their BDRs and SDRs. And that's what was really attractive about Recast.
Yeah.
Also, the money's a little bit better than Service Titan, but the
Yeah.
fact that they're really focused on the growth of their entry level people and want you to stay with the company and you know grow,
Yeah.
obviously, is
Yeah.
huge. It's not like Service Titan where they seem to just throw 20 people in the deep end and kind of see who swims after a few months. So
Yeah.
that Recast offer, super stoked about. Service Titan, not as thrilled about the company, but getting
Yeah.
the offer was definitely a bit of a confidence boost.
Yeah.
And then right now working with Anagram and obviously having the confidence that I have that what I've been doing has been working. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to secure that offer there.
Yeah.
And I'd be thrilled to work for either Anagram or Recast.
Nice. Nice. And you don't have to say the number, but you said the Recast one was good. Is it above the average of like a 80K comp for a SDR role?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's
Okay. Cool.
I'll tell you the amount. It's a 87K OTE,
Nice.
which is super solid, a lot more than what I'm making now. And
Yeah.
then Anagram offer is 90K OTE.
Yeah.
So both on the upper end of that 70 to 90K range.
Yeah.
Service Titan was 80K.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned earlier, right now it's more about getting somewhere where I can see myself getting promoted
Yeah.
quickly and growing my career quickly. So
Yeah.
dollar amount isn't huge, as we probably both agree for that entry level role.
Totally. And I think, one thing that's important is for anyone watching this, there are uh, candidates in the market that have different levels of an experience and should expect different types of offers. So maybe a candidate with less experience than you, like no sales experience, and they're only willing to go remote, they probably only can land a job like Service Titan. And it
Mhm.
doesn't mean they shouldn't. But like it's a foot in the door. Whereas like with you, you have sales experience. Like think of Service Titan as a place for you to get practice interview reps. So then for these other roles that you really want, you've already made the
Yeah.
mistakes in the interviews, right? So then you can nail those ones that you really want. And so that's the goal, is like give you lots of options and like, let's see how you perform and let's see the best we can get you based on, how well you follow the program, all that great stuff. And so, um, that's awesome. Rooting for you on Anagram.
Thank
Um, let me finish with, let's say someone was in your shoes like 60, 90 days ago. They're considering tech sales mentors. Like, what would you say? Would you say it's worth it? What would kind of you like tell them?
I'd say do it 100%. If I'm talking to myself, 3, 6 months ago, I'd say do it 100%. Um, One for myself, that I'm going to be making more in my
Yeah.
new role. So you factor that in, it's already worth it just on
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
But then also when you think about the amount of options you have and sort of exposing you to like different cultures of different companies and in the whole world of tech sales. So 100%, there's people that I currently work with that aren't, or I guess, I put my 2 weeks in, so I'm almost done,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's people that I've worked with that aren't thrilled with their current role. And I'm trying to tell them, like, guys,
Yeah.
this program, yeah, it's a little bit expensive or it might seem like it, but you're going to set yourself up in you're going to open the world up career wise. So
Yeah.
if you're on the fence about it, I'd say totally go for it. And, it's overall been a great experience. It is a lot of work, I'll admit, but
Yeah.
I'm certain I can crush interviews at least in the first 3 rounds or so. Later rounds get a little tougher, but yeah, as a whole, totally worth it. And I know these are interview skills that I'm going to be able to carry on even later down the road for promotions and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And last question there, how much time were you dedicating a week to your job search?
Um, it depended on the week, but I'd say anywhere between like 6 and 12 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Um, but I was, also prepping more for interviews than I think you might need to.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, as a whole, maybe 6 to 12 hours.
yeah.
And I
Cool.
mean, when you're looking at getting a 20K raise, that's definitely worth it, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's great. What also like obviously we want the long term like AE role. Like obviously that makes it ROI positive. But yes, if we can do it on the first roll as well, where it's a bump, even better, easier, yes, as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, thanks for taking time, Owen. I'll include your like LinkedIn below if anyone wants to connect with you. And then yeah, if anyone's interested in breaking into tech sales in the next 60 days, you can check it out below as well.